Hey, this is Dan McCown, pushing the patience of management of the Blue Mouse to its limit. Okay, all right. Wait, no, we're good. I'll deal with the end in a second. Okay. Hi, Dan McCown here, sporting my 1970s hair and my 1970s jeans at the Blue Mouse Theater, where we're going to watch the 1978 classic Battlestar Galactica, with special live introductions by Dirk Benedict and Richard Hatch. Enjoy.
Real quick, obviously we're going to do the Q&A with Dirk and I. He needed to go over and get a couple of shots first, you know. Facing a large audience, very intimidating, but he's going to be in here in a few minutes. We're just going to play this 20-minute. How many Star Trek fans here? How many people have ever seen or heard about this Axanar project? Really? Okay, good. So you've heard about it. This is probably the most epic, most ambitious Star Trek indie film ever put together, with an amazing cast of professional actors. The crew, the director blows me away. He's like a young Ridley Scott. They put together this little intro to introduce people to the world, to the universe, to the war, and it turned into this kind of really, really cool thing. And they went out and they've raised almost $1 million. So they're doing a second Kickstarter in order to, I think, take this project to a level that nobody at the studios, at least, would ever expect was possible with an indie film like this. I think they're going to do a film on the level of a studio Trek film, and I think you'll be blown away by what you see on this thing. The special effects are absolutely amazing. The acting is amazing. How many people know Tony Todd? Anybody? How many people know J.G. Hertzler? One of my favorite Klingons of all time. Gary Graham. Anybody know Gary Graham? Kate Vernon from the new Battlestar. How many people know her? So I think you're going to be very, very impressed with what you see. Take a look at it, and if you like it, go on Facebook, put Prelude to Axanar. You can actually see it online on YouTube. I'm blown away. I hope you will be too. So enjoy. We'll talk in a few minutes, and have a good time.
We are facing an enemy that is consumed and committed to our total destruction. But I say to you, our greatest challenge is not the might of a Klingon fleet. The greatest challenge laying before us is to do what must be done without undoing the dream of the Federation.
The first goal was to create a class of ship that could spring Starfleet back into action, back into battle. It was the first pure warship that Starfleet had ever built.
Well, that was Ramirez's first roll of the dice. And they landed exactly the way we wanted them to, the way we needed them to. At that point, about the only thing we were doing that impressed the Klingons was dying well.
Starfleet was never seen as a match for the Imperial Navy. Certainly not one that would impede the growth of the Empire.
The bad blood between the humans and the Klingons meant that the job of preventing war and leading the peace delegations fell to Vulcan. Regrettably, we failed.
Day after day, it was the same thing. I'd get called in to support some kind of counterattack. By the time I got into orbit, my orders had been changed. Battle was already over.
Our ship captains finally started giving the Federation its due as a worthy adversary. But in the 2 years we wasted in our arrogant belief we were superior to the Federation, we had lost the advantage. With the launch of their newer ships and the experience their commanders had gained, our progress was slowed.
Axanar was the bloodiest conflict in the Federation's short history. We didn't sign up to be warriors. That's not what Starfleet's about. We proved that we could do what we needed to do to defend the Federation. I'm proud of everyone who I served with, especially those that didn't make it back.
For myself, I have but one fear: destroying the dream of the Federation. Compared to such a loss, I do not fear the Klingon Empire!
Real quick, I think you can see this little project has kind of grown in scope and size, and if you want to learn more about it, go online, put in Axanar, A-X-A-N-A-R. I think these guys are going to do something extraordinary. They have been renting sound stages, they're building sets, they're putting together an extraordinary movie, and it's not going to be this is a documentary style intro to the characters. The movie is not going to be a documentary. It's going to be a movie. It's exploring Axanar. They talked about it. Kirk was in Starfleet Academy, and he looked up to Garth Avizar. That was his favorite starship captain, right? And the war, or the Battle of Axanar, was very, very famous. Nobody's ever gone into it. Nobody's explored it. So these writer-producers have gotten together some very, very talented, gifted people, and they're putting together this whole story. So you can learn more about it. But I think it's going to be one of the most exciting Trek indie films ever made. So I hope you enjoy it. Thank you very much for watching and appreciate it. I wanted to say one real quick before, I know you're going to introduce Dirk.
Yes, sir.
Is he here? Is he up there?
In theory, yeah.
Okay, good. I'm going to turn it over there because I want to make sure. Okay, here you go. Oh,
ladies and gentlemen, Dirk Benedict!
I feel like Gloria Swanson. I'm ready for my close-up. I'm more than ready. Yeah. She was a friend of mine, you know. Gloria Swanson was like my stage mother. I did a Broadway play with her. She played my mother. And she taught me a lot about show business. I met Greta Garbo, Lillian Gish. Can I borrow the chair? No, I'll give it. Wait, you're not going to sit down there. Have you already? Huh? I'm going to do this alone. I've been in front of this many. It was weird. It was weird. It was. Yeah. So, did you already do your?
No. I'm just waiting.
Oh, yeah.
I figured you were going to talk for a little while. And,
no, I don't know what to talk about. Battlestar Galactica. I've never seen it. This is the 3-hour movie, right? 2-hour movie. I never saw it. You never saw it.
Wait. You never watched the 2-hour version?
Well, this is the movie.
Well, there was the 3-hour pilot, okay? And then they kind of cut from that, and they made the 2-hour movie.
Which I have.
So this is the 2-hour movie.
Yeah, no, I never saw that. They probably cut my part out.
By the way, don't forget, it's in Sense-Around. Sense-Around! The audience will vibrate.
Hang around. In the hang around. I don't know. Yeah, so I was in Europe doing Battlestar Galactica convention over there. It's very strange that show is still around after all these years. It's strange that Richard and I are still around after. We didn't think we would be, but you never know what's going to happen. That it should come to this, that it should be. No, but it's great to be here. I came all the way from Montana. I rode my horse. But, gosh, I don't know what to say. I'm blank. I never go blank, but I've been sitting, I think I have jet lag. Do you want to ask me a question?
Yeah, guys, do you have any questions you'd like to ask? Anybody want to? Yeah, there you are. Can you stand up? Would you mind?
Hello, Starbuck. Where'd you get your T-shirt?
What?
Where'd you get your T-shirt, and where can I get one?
You can have this one. I'll sell it to you. No, I got this. Where did I get this? I can't remember where I got anything. I can't remember where I lost anything, where I found anything. My short-term memory, my long-term memory, everything's gone. I can't remember. I don't know. No, a fan gave it to me about a year ago, I think. It's pretty cool. It's great. So I think it's one of a kind, just like me, one of a kind. No, you know, I did get to play a one-of-a-kind character at Starbuck. He was like, I feel sometimes like the guy that landed, one of the guys that got to walk on the moon. Because Starbuck doesn't exist on television anymore. That character, that swashbuckling ladies' man rogue who smoked and drank, looked at a woman and said, oh my God, I want to take her to bed. That's all gone. In fact, it's illegal. It's sexual harassment. It is. Starbuck would be in jail today, as I had to take myself up to the woods of Montana and just hibernate, because I live in a country where where guys like me are illegal. We smoke, we drink, and we're old-fashioned guys. We want a woman that will cook for us. So, although Starbuck wasn't necessarily looking for that now. But it is true, and in a way I'm glad, because I claim to be the last guy to play that character on American television. You correct me if I'm wrong, if you know of a character that exists today that is a womanizer, that is the James Bond doesn't even do it anymore. His James Bond girls now do martial arts, and they're his partners. Falls in love and he cries and all that stuff. When Sean Connery played him, of course, I don't have to tell you what that was. And that was what Starbuck was, and it's all gone. So
there was Faceman.
There was Faceman. I got to do it twice, and people asked me why I never worked after those shows. People mistook me for. I used to date women, and they were wondering why. When they would wonder why. When the disappointment would show on their faces, I'd say, look, I'm not really a lover, I just played one on TV. But in the business, they mistook me for being that character, I think, because there was a lot of resistance to hiring me, because they thought I was that guy, and you couldn't be that guy in Hollywood. You can't be that guy now, you can't. I was standing smoking a cigar outside the hotel in Seattle today. And people would walk down the street. It was great fun, and it was sunny. I was right across from Safeco Field, and I'm standing there. And I love smoking a cigar now, because it's just so easy to irritate people. You just take a cigar out, and immediately people are upset. And you don't just take it out. In fact, you just have it here, and they go, they see it, and they go, oh my God, everybody's got a cigar, it's a cigar. And if you smoke it, they will. So anyway, I'm smoking a cigar, beautiful cigar, wonderful Dominican cigar. I told them Fuente A5A. So, and it's sunny and the sun is on me, and I'm there, thinking about what it's like to be homeless, actually, because I've got this whole idea. I want to become a homeless person, and I'm going to sit on a street corner in New York City as the guy that used to be the star of Battlestar TV and A-Team, and I'm going to have my little thing. And I'll have old pictures of me, and I'll be homeless. So I'll be dirty and scruffy and everything. I'm in there, and I say, please, could you help an old has-been actor? So I'm going to do that. But anyway, so I'm smoking. So they come down the street, and I did about 6 out of 10. They're walking down, guys, men and women, and I'm leaning against the wall, and there's a street thing there. So they got to go between me and that street light, and they're coming down, and they walk, and they go. It was wonderful. I loved it. And I made a point not to be blowing smoke when they come down the street. And I think, my God, these people are afraid of I put fear in their hearts. A kid, can you imagine walking around? And I smoked with Milton Berle, and I smoked with George Burns, and I smoked with Jackie Cooper, and I met all these old guys that were cigar smokers, because when I did Battlestar, there were not a lot of young guys smoking cigars. I can't think of anyone. But I smoked it as the character. I smoked them in real life. And so when I did Battlestar, I had a little bit of money. Not as much as Richard.
What are you talking about?
You made 3 times.
Well, I did on that show, but then you got on 18 for 4 years.
Yeah,
and then on the show, you got rich on that show.
I did?
I
have nothing. This is a pair of old Dockers that my mother bought me, These boots I bought in 1990. I got everything I have is old. My newest car is 12 years old. I don't know where it all went.
let you drive my
I
car.
did get rich, but I also got married, so then when you get divorced, you're no longer rich. It's true. The women come and the money goes, yeah. Well, guys can relate to that. You know, it's funny, you get divorced and you go into divorce court and all of a sudden it's 1953. You know, and the women are helpless and crying and the judge, oh, alimony, child support, I'm going to have them. And she's sitting there crying, going, I have no career, what am I going to do if I can't? You go, wait a minute, you're a woman, we're equal, it's women's rights, we're all equal, it should be the same. No, it's right, you're the guy, so you're expected to, you know, what I started doing when I was doing the A-Team, this didn't make me, well, people wonder why I'm single, you're beginning to understand. When the bill would come, I would say, okay, your half is $85. And they look at me. I said, well, we're splitting it. I mean, this is women, I wouldn't insult you to like buy this. It's an insult to you as an individual, as an equal partner in the thing, so. But they wanted they wanted to hang on to that one part of. So anyway, so I was smoking cigars, doing Battlestar, and yeah. They tried to fire me, from Battlestar for smoking. I got the memo, and I said, one more cigar and he's fired. I'll never, he actually drove down in his limousine, down to the stage 24, whatever that was. Dirk, got to talk to you. I go, what? We're going to have to stop at the Fumarellas. And he showed me, he had a note. It said, one more cigar and he's fired. So they hated him then. Then we went on the air. So I didn't smoke there's an episode in there where I didn't smoke. And I couldn't act without a cigar in my hand. In fact, I got to the point where I couldn't have sex without a cigar in my hand. So I got, no, that's not. I know there's a lot of people going, why did we come to, why did we? No. It is true, so I had to quit smoking. And then when the show went on there, a lot of fans sent me cigars. Some of them were very good cigars. And Richard got the panties, I got the cigars. No, I've had a great one. Smoking cigars is like and especially now when smoking is like it's like being a scumbag. I mean, really, it's like, and it used to be, but anyway, I met a lot of wonderful people, including George Burns. I never would have met these people, become friendly with them, but there's a bond among, and there may be some cigar smokers in the house, and you can attest to this. I just got back from Europe, I was in Malta. Same deal there. These guys, oh, cigars, we're going to take you to this place. And you go there. And I never met a cigar smoker I didn't like. So it's been a great part. And both my characters smoke cigars. And that didn't make me, it's funny. I never did work after the interview. Good thing my identity wasn't connected to my career because, I would have been in dire straits. So, you want to ask me a question? Yeah.
This is, first of all, welcome to the Pacific Northwest. And welcome to the Pacific Northwest.
Thank you. Yeah, my first acting job, I don't know if Richard knew, I started in Seattle Repertory Theater, 1969-70 season. They used to have a company of actors, and it was my first job. It was me and Richard Gere. Richard Gere was a journeyman equity actor. And we used to have to sweep I wish I had a picture of me and Richard Gere sweeping the stages after the performances. It was great. He was a lot younger, but and not very talented. I told him he'd never make it because he just didn't. He was weird. No, we were good friends. If I saw him today, he wouldn't remember me. He probably wouldn't. But anyway, no, he'd remember me. I mean, we were good friends. We were very different. He was a city guy and very cool and very hip. He had a motorcycle. He had long hair. He rode his motorcycle with his guitar and thing. And I was a hick from Montana. I mean, I had a crew. I mean, I was always, we were the opposite, but we got along. He was very gifted musically. He was a good actor.
So this question was for both of you guys. This is unrelated to acting, but did you guys? I'm a high school teacher. Did you ever? So I teach Spanish.
Do you? Fantastic.
Yeah, and I wanted to know, and I love teaching, but I also wanted, over the years, make a difference. So who made a difference in your life in high school? Anybody?
In high school?
Yeah, in high school. This is for both of you guys. Did you have somebody who really kind of influenced you in high school, or a father figure that, or anything that?
Well, my father figure was my father.
Yeah.
I know the book. It's so square. I'm so square. I'm so old-fashioned. I got in trouble Well, never mind. I'll let that go. No, my father figure was my father. You know, I grew up without television, which is why I still don't watch television. I watch sports and political shows, but I never developed the. So I raised my children years later. When I left in '94, and my wife left me, and I ended up with my 2 boys. So I've really been a single dad for the last 20 years. I became Mr. Mom. It's really the irony of all of this is I'm more of a woman than I am a man. I know, it's true. I did all the stuff that I think women should do. I did. I cooked. I didn't sew. I did sew a little bit. I sew on all my buttons, and I patched socks and stuff like that. I could sew that together. But I made all, you know, the kids got up, they came down, breakfast was cooking. I had a wood cook stove. I lived in a log cabin built in 1924. And I bought it when I was doing Battlestar Galactica. It's on a lake, it's in Montana, I still have it, it's my thing. Wood cook stove, wood heating stove, kerosene lamps. When I bought it, I made it off the grid completely. This is 1978. And so the boys and I moved into this 900 square foot cabin, so there was no television there. So I'm back there with my 2 boys who are just figured out that I used to be famous and that I used to be an actor and all of that because people, they figured out finally that not every dad signs autographs going through the checkout counter. Because when they were like 2, there was no big deal. They'd say, oh, Dirk, can we have an and they're just going, well, yeah, he's great. Our dad is our dad, of course. Of course you can do that. So it was like, it was oh, God. I taught my kid, my one son is very athletic, I taught him how to do a fight. We did a lot of fighting on the 18, how to do a stage fight. So he's really good. So he used to be, we'd set this all up, and he would go get sugar or something. He said, Dad, I said, no, Roland, take that back. You can't have that. But I want it. And he never talked to me, but he's active. He's got that, he's not following it. He's a soccer player. But I want it, Daddy. No, I'm not going to tell you again. You take it, you give it. I'm not going to do it. I mean, you can't make me do it. I said, Roland, no. So I go on and then he punches me. He kicks me like this, I go like that, and he hits me like that, I go back. So people are watching this like, this 8-year-old kid beat the crap out of his dad. So people think I stopped acting. No, I acted. So we used to, but anyway, there was no TV. So here was this former TV actor living in a log cabin, raising his 2 children without television. I freaked everybody out up there in Montana because, you know, I'll never forget, the same son, when he was about 6, he was 5. We were still in LA, and I had him at a play park, and he's playing with some kids, and he comes running over, Daddy, that boy said, you're on a TV show called The A-Team, and I told him he was wrong, right? Oh, because I've never watched it. I don't watch TV at home, so they never, I said, oh, Roland. Actually, I was on it. He looked at me like he found out, you know, I was a total fake. He didn't know me. I mean, how could this strange kid that he just met know more about his own dad than he does? So we went home, and we got out Battlestar, and we got out then Battlestar. That was a whole freaky thing, because my other son is a science fiction, fantasy horror guy, and it just, they would look at me, they would watch TV, and they'd look at me like, how did this happen? How did we not know? How could you not? And then both shows, you know, Battlestar was so cool, and I was so cool on them, and I was so funny in A-Team, and then, you know, why in real life, Dad, are you not like that? Why? Where's that? Where's all that? Yeah. Anyway. So that's what I've been doing. I've been a Mr. Mom. I made breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and did all the toing, and the driving to and the driving from, and the this and that, and everything. And it made, you know, what's that line from Tootsie? You know, being a woman made me a better man. So, well, maybe not, but. I became really good at it. I remember the first time, it was about it almost destroyed me. I mean, I almost lost my mind. It freaked me out. I was scared of things. It was the lowest point in my life when I first started, because it was just overwhelming. And I'm cooking on a wood cook stove. I got to get up at like 4 o'clock, get everything. I was so nervous because I had to make their lunches. Because the way I eat brown rice and aduki beans and miso soup, and I don't eat meat, I don't eat sugar, I don't eat dairy. and I raised my sons this way, so I can't like just drop them off at school and let them be fed. I can't stop off at McDonald's and bring it home, or Pizza Hut or Kentucky Fried. No, because I'm going to feed my kids my way, so. While I still can, Obama's going to get rid of all that. Pretty soon the government with Obamacare will tell you what you can and cannot feed your kids, but I had my kids before that all happens. So anyway, I get up at 4 o'clock, start the fire deal, and cook the stuff, and I was so nervous, and and we didn't have a shower, I had a bath, and do all that stuff, and I got really good at it. I got so I could do it in like in 30 minutes. But I remember one time, after about, 2 months of this, it's morning, I got one of them in the bathtub, the other one's getting dressed, I'm washing a load of laundry, I'm cooking breakfast, and I'm making their lunches for school, and I'm talking to my sister. And all of a sudden it hit me. I said, Ramona, I have to hang up. I have to hang up. I said, what? I said, I've become a woman. I said, I'm multitasking. I told us I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm doing this. I said, I gotta get off the phone. It was a revelation. I mean, the fact that I could do all that homemaking. I know this has gotten into Battlestar Galactica. It does in a way, because, you know, it just goes to show you, I wasn't really Starbuck, I wasn't really Face Man. I wasn't really any good in anything. No, I was a man suffering from a multiplicity of half talents. I actually still am that guy. I do a lot of things pretty good. I'm an expert at nothing, except one thing. But I don't do that anymore. I'm celibate. I'm celibate. I've been celibate for... No, I am celibate. The girls don't flirt with... They flirt with you, Richard? They don't, you know, like people... Somebody...
I'm not going to answer that.
They used to. They don't. I think I've been doing... I don't know. I haven't figured it out. Well, I am old, but... You know, I do these conventions, I travel around. They don't send me their phone number like they used to. But then I haven't been on the air for 25 years. I think they can smell homemaker. They want a real man. No, this guy's, you know, spent too much time in the kitchen. Yeah. Another question? Did I answer that? Yeah. Oh, my heroes. So my dad was my hero. My dad was a lawyer, a small-town lawyer. Wrote a book about it. He died when I was 18. Which changed my life. And then I got cancer, which changed my life again. And then my wife divorced me, which changed my life again. So, you know, the hardships in life are the things that make you stronger. They don't kill you, so. And having shows canceled is not. But it didn't bother me much, because I've been through these other things. You know, when Battlestar, it was pretty awful. You know, because it was not quite as interruptus. It was what do you call that? Television series interruptus. I mean, we didn't think it was going to be axed, but okay. I answered. Oh, yeah.
Would it have been easier to handle the telling your kids about the show if you hung on to the Corvette from the A-Team or one of the full-size Vipers from Galactica and just put them in the yard?
It would. The Viper. I did become a pilot after flying Vipers. I became a private pilot. Yes. I bought an airplane. I bought an turbocharged 182 RG. Tricked out, state-of-the-art avionics at the time. I had a Loran. This was before GPS. I had an AM/FM state deck with four speakers. Everybody could listen separately from me while I was flying and stuff. And they didn't. Yeah. So it was great. I flew all over America. I flew to the Caribbean, and I was addicted to flying. So I used to pick girls up. It was so great. It was fun. It was romantic. It was great. And say I'm taking a lunch, and okay. And then we drive out to Van Nuys. And Van Nuys, California is not a place you go to. And then we get in an airplane. They go, oh, and then we fly up to Monterey if they had time, or certainly to Santa Barbara and land and have lunch. So of course I got laid a lot. You know, if you do that, I shouldn't say these things, should I? I shouldn't. Well, do you want the truth, or do you want me to be politically correct? I don't know.
The truth.
Tell the truth.
Yeah, I have been. I always do. It kind of didn't help my career. I got a call, Richard. I don't think I ever told you. This is 1991, 92, and I hadn't worked since the A-Team was off the air. No, I had one job. I had a job in '89, and then I never worked again. So I did one job from 1986 till I left Hollywood in '94. I had one job in '89. Never worked again. It was done, gone, finished, over. But I had a phone call from a guy at Universal, and he You know, Dirk, we didn't have, this phone call is not happening. But I keep submitting you for some projects at Universal, and the head of everything there called me up and said, quit submitting Dirk Benedict because he's not going to work at this studio. That's Universal, where we did Battlestar, where we did the A-Team, where I did my first Hollywood movie. So somebody somewhere blacklisted me for something. I don't know. I never slept with married women. That's almost true. Yeah. No, I became sexy overnight. Richard was always sexy, but I wasn't. Because Battlestar Galactica went on. I tell this story many times. Richard probably heard of it. I used to go to this little bar at UCLA. I had an $80 apartment above a garage, which I kept all the way through Battlestar. Who knows? It might get canceled. You know. So I kept this $80 bucks a month. It was one room. It had a shower, no kitchen. I had a hot plate, and it was just otherwise just $80 bucks. So, and it was right next. So I used to go in every Friday. I used to go Friday night. This one, treat myself to a beer. Where all the cute college girls from UCLA would go, and I could never get them to talk to me. So this went on all the while we were filming. March, April, May, June, July, August, September. We went on the air, and I went into that same bar, and all those girls that were in there saw me at the end of the bar, and they did a double take like, oh my God, it's him. Oh my God, oh my God. So they all were hanging around me, laughing at everything I said. It made me cynical and very happy. No, women have been, I talk a lot about it, but they were to my downfall, truly. I wasted 10 years of my life. I wasted 10 years, not I wasted, but you know. I didn't get married until I was 44 years old, so. And I was never going to get married, so I was like just living this, I was just, when Tom DeSanto was going to do Battlestar Galactica, and he talked to me, and he came to me, he said, would you do it? I said, I really would love to play Starbuck again. He says, yeah, okay, he and Brian Singer were going to do it. And I went down and met with him. I said, I'll only do it one way. Starbuck's got to be the same character. He can't be married, he can't be sober, he can't give up smoking. He's got to be, smoking, drunk, and single. So they said, absolutely. I said, I want to show the pathos, the loneliness, what happens to guys that never grow up, that are always playing that, it's one thing when you're 24, 25, 28 to 30, but when you're 55 and you're still, the Lothario, the guy, there's something, it's different. So that's what they do. So they showed me they described the scene where they introduced the character. Starbuck was going to be teaching the Viper pilots, one of which he found out was his daughter through a relationship with some intergalactic girlfriend. But he was doing that, and he was just in the bar. He's in a bar smoking, and he's trying to pick up this young intergalactic girl, and it's not going very well. And he's there, and he's kind of lonely. So that was, but of course, it never happened because they fired Tom DeSanto and Brian Singer and brought in the other people who turned me into a woman, which is a whole other meaning. I always said Hollywood couldn't castrate me, but they castrated my characters. I wrote an article about it called Starbuck Lost in Castration, which, made me really popular with Ron Moore and the whole cast of the new show. And I don't know, maybe you know about the article. It was a political article. It was about how it was really simple. The premise of it was the old show reflected the America of the 70s, and the new show reflected the new America. The old show was family. I never thought of Battlestar Galactica as science fiction. I thought of more as about family. Because Apollo and Starbuck and Lauren Green and Serena. I mean, this was a family box scene. It was a family. It was about a family. And it had a spiritual aspect. It had a morality. And it had a right and wrong. And from what I understand of the new show, it was secular. It wasn't certainly not about it. It was something else, something entirely different. So there you go. And there was no right and wrong.
Dirk, I don't mean to interrupt, but you shared a story in the car. You should tell everybody, because I never heard it.
Oh, I can't tell that about what's her name? Who's married to so-and-so?
the ending of the new Galactica, when they called you about appearing in the.
Oh, I shouldn't tell that story. No, that's for somebody else to tell. No, I don't want to. No. No.
Aww. I'd tell a horrible version. Come on.
No, because this, you know, I know it's old news, but, you know, don't make my life any more miserable than it is. I get a lot of hate mail because of when I wrote that article about
Hey, Dirk, you can tell the story without naming names, but just say what they wanted you to do.
Well, that is no fun. No. Anybody have another? Bless your heart, it's a good idea, but I don't think I should.
Yeah. So, you know, the sci-fi of the 70s had the coolest sets and memorabilia. Did you get to keep anything that you love?
What? I couldn't hear.
As far as memorabilia back in the original show?
Oh, I don't have anything. Do you have anything? No.
You're kidding me.
Well, we went on hiatus. I had trouble getting back on the set on the lot to get my personal belongings. I mean, I couldn't get back on Universal. I remember I said, Scotty, the guy at the thing, he said, well, I'm sorry, I can't, man. Yeah. So I just wanted to get my old underwear, you know, and souvenirs. I couldn't get back on. So no, we didn't take anything because we were coming back, you know, but we never came back. So now when I leave, after that, when I left the show, I took it. When I leave hotel rooms, I take the soap. Whenever I leave a room, you got to check because I take stuff because the chances are I will never be back. Especially when I start talking politics, I know I'll never be back. I got the cigar thing, though, going back to that, is I love it. I get invited. You know, I'm a recluse. The truth is I'm a recluse. My two boys, bless their heart, they're 23 and 25. And they're the only thing of worth I've done in my life is raising my children because I did commit my life to it. I had no life other than my children for the last 20 years. So I did the best I could do. And so they're my gift to the world. And I can say there are a lot of actors who could have played Starbuck or Faceman. But what I did with my boys was really good. You know, I fought the world on all fronts to make them strong individuals, capable of thinking. And that's not easy, you know. You like I said, you know, my kids didn't eat sugar. Can you imagine raising kids without sugar with everywhere you go? You go to the dentist, they come out, they hand you a thing. You're Halloween, I mean Christmas, your grandma's. I mean, you go, grandma's make cookies for you. I mean, you become. They see you, and they go, oh my God, here he comes. Don't have it. But my kids were great and funny and outgoing, and they're outrageous. It all worked out, but it was a battle. But. So I'm a recluse, and I smoke cigars, so it's a great thing. Whenever I get invited anywhere, I say, oh, I'd love to come. I don't want to go, but I say I'd love to come. So it'd be all right if I smoke a cigar. Oh, no, you can't smoke. I said, oh, well, then I can't come. No, we want you to come. We really want you to come. I said, no, you don't want me to come, because I'm a smoker. I smoke. You want somebody that doesn't smoke to come, that looks like me and sounds like me, but he just doesn't have that one really bad habit. So I don't have to go anywhere. It gets me out of everything.
So Michael J. Fox.
Because you can't smoke anywhere. You can't do anything, you know. So you still can where I live, but I don't want to tell you where that is because you'll tell the cops and they'll send the smoking Nazis there to stop it. I mean, really. I smoked in Malta. It's great. You go to Europe or go to Africa. Africa's great because third world. I mean, nothing works there, you know, but it's dangerous. But you can smoke because they're happy to be alive, you know. I mean, and it's really go to Cape Town. You can smoke. I was in Malta, and you know they got some smoking stuff, you know, but you can smoke. You can smoke. So it's great. But you can be as fat as you want in America, but by God, you better not smoke. You know. Oh well, yeah, because come on. Front page of the Seattle Times today. Rectal cancer, colon cancer, breast cancer are exponentially, quote unquote, on the rise amongst people under 50. Now, I don't know how this could be, because for the last 20 years, I have been told over and over, I've read it, I had the government tell me, I can't turn on the TV, that if we quit smoking, we cure breast cancer, we cure colon cancer, we cure heart disease, we've stopped smoking, and they've gone up exponentially. It actually it went up 75% since 75 to 2010. And we've stopped smoking. So obviously smoking is not the cause of all these cancers, which I know. You know, the Japanese are the heaviest smokers on the planet, and they have 10% the amount of cancer across and heart disease as we do. And they smoke, so if smoking causes, I know you don't want to hear this, but the truth is painful. It's uncomfortable because it's not what we all believe, you know.
George Burns lived to 100, didn't he?
He lived to 102.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
Oh,
walked all the time.
Milton Berle lived to be 99, and I'm, you know, 50. So.
29.
Okay. Am I done? Is there another question?
You were saying about how you felt cheated that your show was canceled after one season, you didn't get awarded. But you got to be the only one that came back to get closure for your character, and the only good
I know.
The only
I was lucky that way. Very fortunate. And it came out of left field. I don't know. I just got a call from Brent Larson saying, "Would you come and do this last episode?" And one of the reasons I wanted to do it was cheap. I was the only, it was just me and the girl. There's two characters reading. The Cylon, but that was just a girl reading a script, you know. They put a voice in. It was a voiceover. And it was a lot of fun. It was, it was Stanley Robinson and Crusoe. And it was Man Friday. So, and it was fun and funny. And I enjoyed it. We did it in about 7 days out in the desert. And it was great fun. So that's what Tom DeSanto used when he was going to bring do the remake of Battlestar Galactica 25 years later. And that child was 25 years old and a girl and a Viper pilot, and I didn't know it. So I had that happen to me in real life. I got a son that's 47. No, 46. Yeah. And I met him when he was 28. It's a great story, but it's got nothing to do with anything.
Yeah, I was just curious, like, with all of the crowdfunding, Kickstarter things that are going on now, like Axanar and all of that, what are the chances of Second Coming coming back to life again? I know Richard was working on that a few years back.
The chances of what? You hear better.
Coming back.
Yeah, I don't know.
What are the chances of what coming back?
Second Coming, the trailer that Richard was working on.
Oh, well, Richard would know.
No, there's, you have to understand that Universal owns the license to that, and Universal does what they want to do. And so it's what I've learned long ago is that studios don't listen to fans. In fact, they make a very big statement that they tell people what they should like. I hate to say that, but it's really, really true. It's been in a few articles, but the truth is they don't look at polls, they don't listen to any of that stuff. They decide what they like, and they do what they like. The nice part about it is, in the Star Trek world, people go out and do fan films. They do fan series, they do all that stuff. Paramount allows them to do it as long as they don't make money from it. They can do Kickstarters, and they can pay the people that are in it. But when it comes to Universal, this is a very, very different company. And so far, they have not been, very open to doing something like that. But it would be great. Wouldn't it be great to in this big gap where they're not making any Battlestar product, that fans could get together and make shows? And there's some very, very talented fans out there. So as you have seen with Axanar, as you've seen with some of the other Trek indie films, it's an amazing new time. And I do think that Paramount on some level is going to maybe even do revenue sharing, license something like Axanar, let them play it in the movie theater, let them play it online, and let them make some money from it. For all that effort and all that talent they put into it, it'd be great to see if they would do that with Battlestar Galactica. That would be wonderful.
Well, it was Universal. They obviously won't hire me, so maybe those people are dead that said don't hire Dirk Benedict.
One can hope.